Coinbase postponed listing Tether or USDT until next month because reportedly they have to fix some technical issues. Now, Coinbase just announced it's going to list Tether about a week ago, and it sounded like a vindication for Tether. You know, like all those people who had been saying all along that, you know, Tether is suspicious, maybe it's not fully backed, maybe it's too many Tethers just printed out of thin air and there's not, you know, that there is no dollars backing them. It was like all those people were told, now get that. Coinbase, you know, like the publicly traded company, the most stringent, the law-abiding crypto exchange is going to list Tether. So, you know, it's 100% legit. Let it, let it be. Now, Coinbase is postponing that listing. Is it a bearish signal? Is something sketchy going on behind the scenes? What do you guys think?
I'll jump in there. I mean, I think that there's a lot of FUD around Tether. I don't necessarily buy into it. And especially since you've had the New York Attorney General come in and say, you need to provide these attestations, you need to be showing documents about how much money you have on hand. I mean, it's completely on par with every other stablecoin out there right now. You have Gemini or, Pax, you've got USDC. Like, I mean, all of these places, none of them have ever had an audit. None of them have ever been able to secure an audit. That was the main reason for all of the FUD back in the day, because Tether couldn't secure an audit. And people were like, what is going on here? This is crazy. Someone look into this. But the fact is that no company will audit these things because they don't really understand it. They don't want to legally sign their name. So there have been no stablecoin issuers that have been able to have an audit. And that includes all of the companies that are regulated in the US by New York Department of Financial Services. So, that Tether is on par with all of the rest of these coins in terms of the amount of financial documentation they have showed. And none of them really have any sort of audit going there. So I think a lot of the FUD tends to be a little bit, I don't know. It seemed to come about when all of these other stablecoin competitors came around. I can't help but be a bit of a conspiracy theorist and wonder how much of that was created. I'm not saying Tether is like a sure thing. I don't know, but we have the same clarity with Tether as we do with all the others. But Zach, I saw your hand go up there.
I just wanted to talk about audits versus attestations as a term of art in the crypto space. So you're true that I guess no stablecoins have reached the level of audit, but I think most of them, most of the prominent ones at least, do have some regular attestations where an accounting firm comes in and says, okay, yep, those numbers look right. They don't do the full audit because you're right, they don't fully understand how to get back into the system and figure out all the numbers, but they do sort of put their seal of approval on having seen and attesting that those numbers, to the best of their knowledge, are accurate. So, USDC came out and did this from the get-go, but Tether has been a laggard in even adding an attestation layer to its reserves, which I think was like just happened maybe like 2 months ago or something. So, yeah, Anna, I just want to talk about attestation. It's a fun word, and I'm throwing it back to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what you were saying that Tether's competitors showed a little, more profound attestation of what they have. They would at least list the assets they have to back the stablecoins they issue, while with Tether, it's not even clear what kind of assets they have. It's definitely not all cash, according to it. Well, they didn't provide those kind of details, though, I guess, in their recent attestation.
Same details in March that all the others have, right? So now they're on par. But previously, I agree. Previously, there has been, they have had I think 4 different types of kind of trying to get in the direction of an audit, and each of them haven't really come close because no one's doing an audit. And this is only in March that they really provided on par with what everyone else is providing. But I think now it's pretty clear, but maybe you guys disagree. Will, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, I think it's just gradations. Every firm does something a little bit different than the other. I think Tether might be more towards the risky side, but not necessarily super risky, because we were on the safer side of the entire scale. So you have USDC coin or USD coin is pretty safe. They have Circle behind it. There's an entity created for monitoring the stablecoin and making sure that it follows every regulation. Tether's a little bit more to the left, I'd say, but not like incredibly far over. And I think you kind of see that in the market itself, because these stablecoins, they're pegged to the dollar, but they can also move around depending on how the market feels about them, which is in itself a sort of like safety valve that the market has created for making sure that these stable coins are truly what they're meant to be, which is $1. So I think like you're right, there's some details around it that are like we probably can't get through it on the show, but attestations has been like a pretty recent addition for Tether.
Yeah, I will also add that there's always this element of trust with any stablecoin issuer. Like they're not trustless entities. They're not cryptocurrencies that are defined by code. So if anyone's thinking, well, this is a sure thing because we've got an attestation, I think people should push back on that, because it is really quite opaque how these companies do issue these things, and whether they're licensed and regulated in the US or not, it's still completely murky. So it is a very gray area, but they're a very useful tool, and I don't have a problem with it. I just think people should be cautious when they think about the trust element.
Naomi, I just wanted to add to what you were saying earlier. Not everyone watching might know what FUD means, and that's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I think that makes a little bit more sense to our new watchers who don't know all of the crypto lingo.
You should be like a translator on the show in the corner. Sorry, go ahead, Anna.
No, it's interesting actually talking about the trust issue. If you look at how actually the crypto markets work, they are totally based on trust and people like believing that their investments are going to perform well and that the technology is going to work out and so on and so forth. And, when I spoke to one person that knows a lot of OTC traders dealing with Tether, and he's like, yeah, well, I keep a part of my wealth in Tether. I know I'm risking. I know I don't have 100% guarantee that it's all backed. But, all these people who are trading Tethers, what are they losing? If one day they realize that Tether is not backed and it's like crashing or whatever, they lose like 1 day of their trading or whatever. And they just write it off. So there might be a fair amount of gambling mentality coming into that trust, mix.